Alright, so this is Scott. I'm going to be doing a short painting tutorial here. I've been working on the Dreamforge-Games Titan, and I wanted kind of a statued bronze look to it. So this is what I have so far for my paint scheme. This is one of the legs. I'm going to be showing you guys how to get this interesting effect, and we'll zoom in here. And kind of see the detail of it. But it's a pretty simple effect, and overall it looks good. Alright, we'll show you more in the next video. Alright, so here's some pieces I have my base coat. So what I started off with was a just a straight gray primer to, I guess, highlight the highlights and put a little shadows on the darker colors as well. That way nothing gets missed. So what I start off with, my base coat, is actually the Citadel shade. I can't even pronounce it, but it's the green shade. And what I do is I just wash the entire piece of gray, and it ends up looking pretty crappy, but it works out through the effect pretty good. Once I go over that, what I use next is I use a layer of the Heshed copper, and I don't get a perfect coat on that, just enough to kind of let some of the green show through, kind of get that aged effect. And we go from there, so that we can kind of see a lot of copper and a lot of the green shade underneath. Next, after that's dry, I wash it with Devlin mud, which is an older wash, but you can use the equivalent of the newer stuff. And while that is wet, I put a pretty liberal amount on that while it's wet, and let that soak into the shadows and whatnot. And then while the Devlin mud is still wet, I start with a green wash, which I'm not sure what the new Citadel wash, the shade is, but I use this Thraka green, and I use the Ball red wash, and I kind of wet blend these two effects onto the wet Devlin mud to come up with a kind of like a mixed oil stained kind of look. You can kind of tell where there's been some excess green, definitely right here at the top. You can tell there's some excess red and green on there. Kind of gives it a little bit of a worn look, and the green kind of gives it like a corroded look that you usually see with some of those copper statues that you find out in the public. And then that Devlin mud really takes the shine off the copper, and soaks into the recesses to give those really good shadows that the washes tend to produce. So it really comes up with just a very muted, statue worn, corroded look, which is what I'm kind of going for. And then I haven't done a whole lot of detailing on this yet, but what I have done is pretty hard to tell here. I'm going to try and zoom in and refocus. But what I have done is I have highlighted the little rivets on this one, which is, I just went back and just did a straight copper on that, which is, it's kind of tough to tell just looking at it, just because it is such a small detail. But I think this effect turned out well, and it was exactly what I was going for, and can't wait to finish the rest of this model. Alright, thanks for watching. Leave some comments if you like. Alright, so we have our green base coat here, and then we are going to just add some copper on top of that. And what I was talking about earlier is, we're just kind of throwing some copper on there, and all these Just giving it not a heavy coat over the whole thing, but just enough to let the green show through and make sure we have copper on the entire piece. You know, and then if some sections are going to have a little bit more copper than others, that is quite alright, because it just adds to the effect that it, you know, didn't just come out of the factory here. And pardon, my camera doesn't have autofocus, so bear with me. And then I just kind of make sure I get the edges just to be sure nothing shows through when I actually put these pieces together. And I'm kind of anal when it comes to my models. I like to paint them before I put them together so I can get, you know, all of the model painted. You know, I don't have any of those sections where it's like, crap, I missed a spot because I couldn't get my paintbrush in there. So that's all I got for now. That's the copper aspect of this piece. Alright, so here I have my my copper piece that's been dried, and I'm just going to sop it pretty liberally with Devlin mud. Kind of get a good coat over the whole thing. And pardon the out of focus if it gets there, but you get the idea. Just trying to get all the pieces that are gonna be seen here. Alright. So now I take my open green, kind of get a little bit on there, and we'll kind of do some streaking, and that's all I do. I just make sure I streak it all the way down, and then I do the exact same thing for the red. Kind of go over some of the green spots that I've already done. And if I need to, I can add a little bit more. And then I can always go back and add a little bit more green to it if I need to. But essentially I'm just trying to get it so it's not just straight. And you can kind of see the runniness of that as well. And that's okay because it's going to dry. It's going to dry and look pretty darn good. Alright. Alright, and this is the final effect once we have that that piece done that we walked you through with the tutorial. Alright. Well, thanks for watching, and please leave a comment. Alright, see you later.